What's going on, family? It's the general back, and y'all with a back to back one, man. This one is so near and dear to me because it's something I've been struggling with my whole life, and I feel like it's never really talked, at least in the way I experience it. I feel like it's not talked about. First things first, welcome to General Knowledge, where we speak about any and everything. Nothing, absolutely nothing is off the table here. One open and honest conversation. At the end of the day, this world is nothing but opinions. There are no such thing as facts. There's universal facts. There's something that are just true, but people want to make their opinions facts. My opinion is not facts. Your opinion is not facts. We're just here to listen to opinions, have an open and honest conversation. If you like these streams, please like, share, subscribe. You know the deal. I've been on YouTube for who knows how long. We're going to be talking about ADHD and the troubles. You know, I feel like in recent years, it's almost been made light. Like, oh yeah, this quirky thing is what happens when you have ADHD. But nobody really talks about like the trouble it can cause in everyday life. Like for today, for instance, I was so in my head, I was so un was unable to like make decision about certain things because I had so many things running through my mind that it almost froze me. You know what I mean? It's like I couldn't operate properly. And I was so overflowed and overwhelmed with thoughts that it was almost I was unable to do anything. You know what I mean? And if I was to make a move in one direction, I would immediately have to switch because I had another idea. And I had another idea and I had another idea and I had another idea that it almost cripples me. And I'm sure it affects different people in different ways. But for me, is when I'm having a really bad episode, it cripples me to the fact where anxiety is set in, and I just get so overwhelmed that I almost need to just go and lay down. And that laying down don't really help. It's just the fact that I'm not doing anything at the moment. So it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna go lay down and let these thoughts overtake me. It is hard, man. You know, Adderall don't really help. Coffee don't really help. They say coffee helps, but it don't really help me. It and it's a battle I've been fighting my whole life. And I was diagnosed as an adult, which is a lot more rare. But of course, if you had it, you always had it. I was diagnosed as an adult, really, maybe even just a year ago. And for the longest, I thought something was always just wrong with me. You know, I thought something was wrong with me. But I realized there was nothing wrong with me. It's just a chemical imbalance or whatever it may be. I don't remember all the things the doctor told me. But it's hard. It's a really hard, especially when you're trying to be a creative, be a creator. If you in a 9 to 5, it's less difficult. Like you might end up getting off task a lot, whatever. But if you know what your start to end goals are, makes a lot more. It makes it easier. That's why I always operate really well in a job that I knew where my start and my end was. I would thrive in that environment because of that. In the ADHD aspect might even help because then it gave me creative ideas how to get me from A to B. But now that I'm creating my own A to B, it almost cripples me at times. At times, weed helps from time to time, but I think weed just kind of helps me take the anxiety away. But right now, I'm on a weed kind of cleanse or whatever you want to call it. I want to see how I operate in this environment without it, because I want to be able to be the point where I can get done what I need to get done without a drug, you know. But it's hard. It's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult to deal with at times. Not a lot of people understand that unless they have ADHD, which I feel like a lot more people do, but they don't want that label on them or they've never been diagnosed themselves. But it's a tough way to live. Like I said, especially as a creator. But to get more into it, so I had an idea for a video, right? I'm gonna give y'all an example. I had an idea for a video, but by the time I started that video and in that video, the video was a whole different thing, and it was not what I wanted it to be. It wasn't what it was supposed to be, and then I've had this overwhelming anxiety about it because I was like, "Well, this is not what I set out to accomplish. It didn't solve the answer I wanted to solve. It didn't answer any questions. It just made more of them." Then I'm just deleting the video. Now I feel like I wasted a day. And when you're an entrepreneur, when you trying to set out and meet your goals, having a day that feels wasted is unbearable. It makes me feel so bad. I feel guilty from it. You know, I feel guilty from it, and it's really hard to live like that at times. I don't never had any like suicidal thoughts or anything because of it, but it makes it makes things very difficult. Let me Google some stuff real quick. I'm gonna read the definition for you. ADHD is one of the most common neurodevelopment disorders of childhood. It is usually first diagnosed as a child and it often lasts into adulthood. That's the thing too. I don't think you ever grow out of it. You might be able to learn how to deal with it, or just like like that's just who you are, which is at the end of the day, it is just who you are. But it never goes away. Children with ADHD may have trouble paying attention, controlling impulsive behaviors, uh, may act without thinking about what the results would be. That's very true. That's extremely true. Like you got time I just jump into things, not knowing, and that has helped me. That have helped me in a lot of ways. 'Cause it stopped me from thinking and being over. But it doesn't. But when you end up thinking about it afterwards, like, oh, man, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have done this. I could have done this way, and that way, and then that becomes so unbearable. It was like a double-edged sword. It's like a double-edged sword in this thing. And I want to be able to have more open, honest conversations about it with other people to let you know that you're not the only one who deals with this, and to be able to truly, you know, make it a superpower. You say these ain't disorders, these are superpowers, which is true because it gives me a lot of abilities to get ahead and excel in certain things, but it's hard to excel in the normal world this way because the normal world can be so linear, and having ADD, you're not linear at all. You're everywhere. It's almost like an open world game to a game with a linear story. Like I don't have a linear story. Sometimes I wish I did, even though it might seem more boring or whatever. But a lot of times I would like just to be able to start and finish things, and not them being a forever twist or trying to always do something different and just go. And it's a big part of me. It will always be a big part of me. It is a battle I will have to I and other people will have to always battle, you know, battle that balance. It's hard. Like a lot of times I didn't fit in as a kid because I couldn't even focus long enough to be in a sport. Like it was hard for me to stay in sports because I would be completely locked in for a week, and then I want to go and fucking do some other shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go and do other things, and which is not a bad thing necessarily, but it always leaves questions for me. Like, what if I stayed there? What if I did this? What if I did that? What if I did this? What if I do that? And it's living life like that can get so overwhelming. Mhm. I'm gonna leave this right here. If you want to have a deeper conversation about that, you have to leave the comments for me, like, so I know this would be a topic more people would like to hear about. This is the general. Salute.